All right, let's get into it. We're going to try and decode the whole messy, confusing, and amazing experience of modern love. We're going to unpack the hidden psychological forces that are secretly pulling the strings on our romantic choices. And we're going to start with a question that I think probably hits home for a lot of us.
Sound familiar? I bet it does. You end a relationship, you swear to yourself never again, and then somehow you find yourself right back in a new situation that feels, well, exactly the same. So why does this keep happening? I'll tell you, it's not bad luck. It's all about your psychological blueprint.
And this right here, this is the core idea that changes absolutely everything. You see, our brains aren't actually out there looking for a healthy, perfect partner. Nope. They're looking for a pattern they already know, a feeling they recognize from our very first experiences with love. So what feels like that spark, that incredible chemistry, so often it's just your nervous system going, oh, hey, I remember this feeling, whether it's good for you or not. So how in the world is this blueprint even created? Well, it all comes down to something called attachment theory. The best way to think about it is like an operating system that's just running in the background of your life, quietly shaping how you connect with everyone you meet. Basically, the way we learned about love when we were little kids becomes the map we follow as adults. So if love felt unpredictable or like you had to earn it back then, that's exactly the kind of love our subconscious is going to look for now, even if we consciously are screaming for something totally different. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, because this breaks down the two most common insecure styles. You've got the anxious style, who's terrified of being abandoned, so they hold on tighter. And then you have the avoidance style, who's terrified of being smothered, so they push away. You can probably already see how this creates this incredibly painful push-pull dance, right? One person's biggest fear is the other person's favorite defense mechanism. Now, the goal for all of us is to get to this secure attachment style where you can have closeness and independence. But here's the wild part. Someone with a secure style, who just asks for basic, clear communication, is often seen as being too demanding by people who are used to chaos. So let's see what this looks like in the real world of dating. Because when these insecure attachment styles are driving the car, they create some very specific patterns and red flags that we get way too good at ignoring. It always starts with something small, doesn't it? An excuse we make. Oh, they're just super busy, or they're not really a phone person. But let's be honest, this is usually a symptom of a much, much bigger problem. And there's the truth of it. It was never about their texting habits. It was about a pattern of emotional withdrawal. That tiny little inconsistency you noticed at the beginning, it was just a trailer for the main movie that was coming later. Ah, and here's another classic. We sometimes romanticize this idea, don't we? The emotionally unavailable partner. We think, oh, I can be the one to finally break through their walls. We see it as a project, not the warning sign it actually is. And this is the part that reveals the deep imbalance. They expect you to pour your heart out, to be their therapist and their cheerleader, all while they give you basically nothing in return. It's a one-way street, and that is a hallmark of an unhealthy dynamic. And when we keep getting pulled into these same patterns over and over, we end up in these situations that feel like love, but they're really something else. Things like trauma bonds, where the crazy highs and devastating lows feel like passion, or validation relationships, where you're not in love with the person, you're in love with the way they make you feel about yourself. So, it's no surprise that these unstable relationships often lead to a breakup. And when they do, the pain can feel completely unbearable. But it is so important to understand that this pain, it's not just in your head. I really want you to let that sink in. The absolute agony of a heartbreak is not you being weak or overly emotional. Your brain and your body are going through a very real, very painful biological process. A breakup literally triggers a primal fear of being abandoned. It messes with your entire sense of who you are. Your whole nervous system goes into high alert, like you're facing a real threat. And get this, brain scans show that the parts of your brain that light up are the exact same ones that light up when you feel physical pain. You are, quite literally, hurt. And this timeline, wow, it explains so much, doesn't it? It shows why exes can seem like they're on completely different planets after a breakup. Often, women might start grieving their relationship while they're still in it, so the breakup itself is kind of the final stage. But for men, who are often taught to just push emotions down, the breakup might feel like a relief at first. The real grief for them doesn't hit until weeks or months later, when the silence really sets in.
So we've been through the pain. What comes next? Well, the path forward isn't about just forgetting what happened or building up walls so no one can get in. It's about a conscious, active healing process that leads to some serious clarity. First things first, healing is not about becoming a cold, cynical person. It's not about jumping onto a dating app the next day, and it's definitely not about pretending you're fine when you're not. Real healing, that's an inside job. It's about finally understanding your own patterns, learning to spot red flags way sooner, and starting to choose partners who make you feel safe, not just excited. See, this isn't something that just happens to you over time. It's work. It's an active process. You have to understand your own style, recognize the patterns you fall into, learn how to say what you need without being afraid, and, this is the big one, build the strength to walk away the second respect is gone. And after all that hard work, what does love actually look like on the other side? Well, it's not this all-consuming fire that burns down your whole life. It's more like a steady warmth that actually supports you in being who you are, giving you space to grow with your partner and on your own. And I gotta warn you, if you're used to the roller coaster of insecure relationships, healthy love can feel, well, kind of boring at first. But you have to reframe that. That boredom is actually peace. It's safety. All that drama you used to think was passion, that was just your unhealed attachment style screaming for attention. This quote just hits the nail on the head. So many relationships don't end because there wasn't any love. They end because of a total mismatch in attachment styles. It's like two people trying to have a conversation, but one is speaking French and the other is speaking Japanese, and neither one has a translator. Which brings us to our last and maybe our most important question. If the whole point of dating and relationships isn't just to find someone, anyone who will pick you, then what are we actually doing all this for? And this is it. This is the ultimate takeaway. The goal is to find your own peace. The real prize is a relationship where you feel safe, you feel seen, and you feel respected. Because true love will never, ever ask you to sacrifice who you are. The moment it costs you your self-respect, it stopped being love a long time ago.